Well, hey everybody, this is Rockin' Spirit Jen, and today we are making 3 oat soap, where cold process meets hot process soap. And so I'm beginning with my cold process, which will be the bottom layer, and this is going to have 3 different types of oat products in it. We're going to have oat oil, we're going to have oat milk, and colloidal oats, and then we'll just embellish this with a little bit of quick oats, very fine organic oats within the mix. So we're adding those in right now. I discounted my lye water by 2 ounces because I'm going to be adding that as a super fat. And I'm adding a little bit of zinc oxide to lighten up that base, along with some Manuka honey. And we've got a little bit of shea butter and a little bit of vitamin E. We have oils of olive, coconut, palm, rice bran, castor, and along with that oat oil at the end is a super fat. We're putting vanilla and sandalwood, which I think will pair nicely with the Manuka honey. And then this is thickening up very, very quickly, a little bit more accelerated than I wanted. So I will not be pouring this on an angle as I have my mold. I'll go ahead and spoon that batter in, tap it down. Then I'm going to do a pencil line plain on the vanilla, and that's going to be black vanilla bean pod. And in addition, I've added some white vanilla bean powder. So this is going to have a nice scent of vanilla to go along with the oats and the sandalwood. I think the sugars and the honey also helped that to trace a lot faster and get very heavy. But we're just going to press this down into the mold, and then I have a little tall mini mold for soap samples here off to the side. We'll tap that down. And we'll polish up this one and smooth it out, and then we'll be adding that pencil line in there. And then I will let this sit for several hours to harden, and then I will start with my hot process soap in the meantime and put that as my second layer. This will be my first attempt at hot process soap, so I'm anxious to see how this turns out and if I did it justice. So here's the ground vanilla bean pod, one of my favorite things to put in my smoothies, and I thought I would share this in a soap recipe. Sometimes it's very hard to get. It sells out, but it's very, very expensive. I think it's around $40 for a half a pound. Very expensive, but it's so worth it in tonics and smoothies. Now we'll begin the hot process soap. I've got my oils in here, and I'm just going to blend those lightly. Then we'll add the lye water that has the the oat milk right in the lye water. So I did not discount this. I didn't want to get too testy with a hot process because I have never done it, so I wanted just to do a straight up formulation. No tricks here. So we'll just begin mixing this and get it nice and creamy. And then we'll get ready to begin our 2.5 hour cooking. That's blending very nicely. I started out with my oils and my lye water at about 90 to 100 degrees. Nice and smooth and beautiful. Okay, I think this is about ready to put the lid on, and I'll be letting this cook for about 1 hour and 90 minutes, and I'll probably stir this, check on it about every 30 minutes just in case it's needing a nice stir. I'm going to be super fatting this with a little bit of shea butter, some olive oil, a little slippery elm powder, some glycerin, and I think that'll be a really nice thing to add just before the cool down. It will add a little bit of the colloidal oats and a little more Manuka honey during the super fatting. Then I'll continue to cook that for about 30 minutes with the lid tilted off, just to start cooling the process. And then as soon as it reaches about 160 degrees, then I'm going to add my essential oils, and then I'm going to immediately start to mold this. And I'm being very careful not to get any sediment left on the side. I didn't want any soap chunks going back down into this and not melting nicely. So I use a rubber spatula. It seems to work very nicely and just removing any sediment that's on the sides and getting it down into that batter to cook. So we're about 170 to 80 degrees right now. I'll start cooling this down to 160. I'll add those essential oils and then I'll mold this. So this is the phase that we're super fatting. Putting some more Manuka in there. And we'll do that last 30-minute cook. Okay, I'm going to remove this from the heat coil. That'll help that to cool down. We're at 160 now, so we're ready to add the essential oils. I'm going to check it just to make sure with this manual thermometer. Sometimes they read a little bit better at this stage than using the digital. We're ready for the sandalwood and vanilla. Mix those in. And let's begin the molding process. I was very hesitant to do the hot process. I love the flowing ability of the cold process and the way that you can make beautiful colors and swirls and patterns, and I really like that for my artistic self. But there's something to be said about a nice, natural, rustic, old-fashioned hot process soap. So I've got a layer of powdered carrots that I dehydrated and powdered, and I decided for that to be the pencil line in between the hot process layers, just to give a little personality and another differentiation and color on the top layer of the hot process. It's pretty bland in color, and I thought this would be a nice addition. I'll smooth that down, and I'll do my best to get some type of a decoration on the top. I kind of want it to come into a peak and have a flat mesa edge there at the bottom where I can put some of those quick, smaller organic oats for a little bit of texture and personality and to tie it all in together. I think that this is going to be cured and ready to cut at the end of the day. If I can keep my hands off of it. I sometimes have problems with my pencil lines causing a separation between two different layers, and I don't quite know what I'm doing wrong there, but if you guys have any tips or information that you can give me to tell me how to do the pencil lines where the two layers will adhere together. I don't know if maybe I need to be spraying some isopropyl alcohol on there. Now we're taking our sleeves off, good to go, all clean, and I'll come back for the cutting. Well, there you have it. You can see the carrot line, the vanilla bean line. Some of the bars split at that pencil line where it's the vanilla bean powder. Most of them stayed together pretty nicely. I think it's pretty good for my first attempt of hot versus cold process and even being the hot process soap. But with that, God bless, make it a great day, and I'll go back to the drawing board.